It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Conversations with Joan. Conversations with Joan will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life's Conversations with Joan. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Conversations with Joan focuses on topics that are important to your life, from health and wellness to professional development to personal well-being. Change makers join me to share their insights, tips, and strategies so you can thrive and live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. Now, let's start talking. The decline of organized religion has caused millions of people to feel disconnected from spirituality, and the pandemic has exacerbated the loneliness and disconnect. Many people are in a spiritual crisis. According to today's guest, Agapi Stassinopoulos, our inner guidance is like a wireless network. We just need to enter the password, and the password is prayer. In her new book, Speaking with Spirit, 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You, Agapi presents a non-denominational guide to harnessing the power of prayer and using it to find connection, peace, and gratitude. Agapi is a best-selling author and speaker whose books include Wake Up to the Joy of You and Unbinding the Heart. Welcome, Agapi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Joan. I love the title of your show. I think it's all about making a difference and shifting our attitude.
Agapi, you've been helping people around the world create a calmer, happier life. How did you get started doing this type of work? What did you experience in your life that led you on this path?
Well, as I write in my book, Unbinding the Heart, where I told my story, it was really a yearning to connect with something higher than myself, deeper than myself, whatever we call it God, the source, the higher intelligence. I felt this yearning, and when I connected with that and I tell my story explicitly in Unbinding the Heart, it started me on the spiritual journey. And I've done a book before that, Wake Up to the Joy of You, and then this new book I wrote during the pandemic, because I wanted to go deeper into spirituality. The thing about spirit and God is that it's an endless journey that you can go deeper and deeper. Everything in this world, Joan, reminds us of the material world, the physical world, the emotional world, the mental realm, the thoughts, the to-do list, the projects, the accomplishments, the anxiety to keep going every day. We all have very, what I call lower vibration energies that we carry. So to go to the spirit, to go to God, to go to that higher energy, it's a real practice. And I always ask people, what is your practice? And I found that during the pandemic, meditation is wonderful, mindfulness is wonderful, but I found that prayer, really devoted prayer, is the way to access the portal of your higher consciousness. There is this great phrase in my book that I say, God is not a being. God is a state of being that we can all access 24/7 if we take the time to slow down, if we take the time to attune ourselves to our breath, to attune ourselves to the miracle of life that we are. But it takes a moment of focus, a moment of devotion, and it takes a daily practice. And once you start to practice this devoted prayer, which can be unceasingly, you can pray 24/7. You don't have to wait for, special occasions or when you're in trouble. And, when we have difficulties, we all go, God help me, God help me. But what about the times that you just have a nice day? Do we pray then? And prayer is as much about listening as it is about asking. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it does. And when people hear the word prayer, it means something different to different people. Some people picture what we do in church or in some type of an organized religion. But what does prayer mean to you?
Prayer to me is reverence. Is a way of having reverence about life. It's a way of really realizing that who we are, Joan, is a miracle of life. So it's not a moment of, oh, I'm going to pray. It's a way of your whole being prays. Your whole being comes into the surrender, the openness, the awe. I have a great phrase in the book that says, whatever moves your soul, inspires your awe, and awakens your spirit can be prayer. You could be cooking. You could be taking a shower, walking in the street. You could be in a forest. You could be by the ocean. You can be sitting quietly in your living room and reflecting and looking out the window. You could be looking at your child's eye. Prayer is moments of, when they say it takes your breath away, moments where you feel, oh, this is amazing. I'm alive. I mean, the fact that we are alive, we've grown to be who we have become without us doing anything, Joan.
Right.
It's like you see a child and you see the child growing and becoming and the face forms and the eyes form, and you start to look at the world with different attitude and with different perspective. And so prayer for me is reverence for life. No one can explain the mystery of who we are. We have 36 trillion cells in us. 36 trillion cells. 36, I just keep saying that because I think it's extraordinary. 36 trillion cells that make us. Right now, Joan, right this minute, there is a life force that is breathing us, that is making us, that is creating this body. And there is this existence that we are all, aren't you in awe of your existence? I mean, you are not just the Joan Herman, you're not just a woman who does this wonderful radio show. You are so much more than that. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And Agapi, I wanted to have this conversation with you because I think this book is coming out at really such a wonderful time. We've all, as a world, have been through so much, and we're tired, and we need nourishment. And I think that you're just offering us so much hope through this book.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you got to sort of stop the world and not the world outside. It's like, because the world outside tried to stop us, but you got to stop your inner angst. You got to stop your inner fear. And the way you do that is you go to that higher energy and you dare to go there. Right now, as your listeners are listening to me and you, I want to ask everybody to stop exactly where you are. If you are driving, please don't close your eyes, but please listen to your heartbeat. You can get very quiet, Joan, right now, and go into your heartbeat. And there is a heartbeat that beats, so rhythmically. And there is a breath that comes in and out. And your breath goes deeper and deeper. And you let your breath carry you like a surfing board. You let yourself go with your breath. And as my yoga teacher says, be in awe of your breath. And at this very moment, you can shift the quality of your day if you are willing to stop and connect back with your breath and say, my God, something in here beyond me is breathing me. Something bigger than myself is giving me life. And you go, thank you. Thank you. I don't have to rush. I don't have to complete my whole to-do list. I don't have to just go from one thing to the other. I can take beautiful moments to reset my mind, to reset my being, and to come into my heart, into my gratitude, and start to flood yourself with the love that the Spirit has for you, because the one who is breathing you, the intelligence that is breathing you, the cells that are connected together, that are actually glued together to give you life, to function, is made of love. Love. Right. And you see that in babies. You can look at a baby, and who doesn't feel your heart explode? You look at this creature, and that's all of us were babies once. So that essence of life, Joan, lives in you and in me right now and in every single being. But we have conditioned ourselves to think that we are our ego, our personality, and we are in control, and we are not.
And that's the problem, Agapi. We forget about this powerful spirit that lives within us as we get older and we get beaten down by life. We forget it's there.
That's so beautiful, Joan. We forget and we get beaten up by life. My God, I have to write that down. You said it so beautifully. You just summed up my book. Because in Speaking with Spirit, my new book, I highly recommend it because I wrote it from a place of complete openness to the Spirit. And every subject that I have is about how to overcome. Like I have something where I say the chapter 5, the gifts that lie in between times. So a lot of us during the pandemic are in between times. We're in between what's going to happen next. Where we had to take a pause. You know, how do you go to sleep without anxiety? How do you wake up with enthusiasm? All these subjects. I even have a prayer for losing weight. I have a prayer of being addicted to God and not to just things, you know, how to overcome perfectionism, how to feel as important as anyone else. These are lessons and teachings that I brought and I poured it out because I feel we all need help to remember that the Spirit is with us 24/7.
Agapi, where did you get the inspiration to write this book? Where did it come from?
God just gave me a nudge and said, "Hey, girl, write this book. We will help you." And I had tremendous. People ask me, "How do you write these prayers?" They came to me. I think when we're open to Spirit, everything comes to me. Everything comes to us when we're open to Spirit. So I just feel it is so important for everybody to get the help we want. I always say and encourage people to ask for help. I wrote this book to help myself and to help everyone who wants to shift, who wants to be more light-filled, more grace-filled, and to know that even in the midst of this challenge we are all going through with COVID and the variants and the unknown, the unknown of what's going to happen. Am I safe? Are my children safe? Very basic survival questions. You can still overcome. You can still be in peace. And do you know you can still have joy? Because this very moment, you're safe. You're listening to me and Joan. This very moment is perfect. Do I know what's going to happen at the next moment? No, none of us do. So if we learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable of not knowing, we can say, hey, I'm being breathed. And come into gratitude of your life, come into gratitude of your everything that's going on around us. And once you are in gratitude, you start to get filled with answers and solutions, and you can create more of what you want. And I wanted to go ahead, sweetheart. You wanted to ask me something.
What I was going to say is I asked you that question knowing the answer because it's such a wonderful takeaway point that we all, when we're open and we come to have that open heart, we're all given information the way you are. We just don't listen to it.
That's right. Exactly. You got to just, there is this great parable of a monk who is in a monastery, and he says, "Dear God, what can I do to serve you more? What can I do to serve you more?" And the monk hears his inner voice that says, "Shut up and let me love you." And God really, in a way, as I said, God is not a being, but the state, the intelligence, the higher intelligence, the divine consciousness, the higher power in us, wants to love us, to support us, to embrace us. And we have forgotten. I think you just said it. We have forgotten, and we all need to remember. I say here in the book, in the preface, at the last paragraph, I say, If I ever got a tattoo, I would engrave on my forehead, God is your partner, to remind all of us that we're never alone. Prayer is a direct channel to God at all times and is as close to our next breath. It is our invisible support system. Think of prayer as your favorite kite with a string wrapped around the spool that you're holding in your hands. You are the one that releases the string for the kite to fly. When you're flying a kite, the wind can take you in many directions. In the same way, your emotions, your thoughts, and whatever you're going through in your life can sway you from one direction to another direction until you steady yourself. Steady yourself. Come into your peace. Come into your stillness, into your alignment. And then the kite, the wind, and you become one. Then you can fly as high as you can. But the key to it all is forgiveness. Forgive yourself for your humanness. Forgive yourself for judging yourself, for thinking you should know more. Judgment deplete our energy. We need to nourish ourselves by having the gratitude of who we are, the spirit, the unknown, the gratitude, and also acknowledging the difficulties that we have. Every prayer I have in this book is about, today I'm having a hard day. I'm being challenged by this and that. But I allow my spirit to come in and help me, to come in with tenderness, with devotion, with kindness. And it is only in accepting where we are, owning it, naming it, that we can open up the gateway to flood us, to bring us more solace, more peace, more comfort. But if we don't ask, if we don't listen, if we don't open up to say, I don't know, nothing will happen and no gate will open, and we will feel we are alone, struggling day after day. So I ask you all, with all my heart, to learn that prayer is the golden key that has been given to us from the divine to allow us to open up to the help that we all want. And it's vulnerable, and it's raw, and it's tender, and it's open, but I explain it so beautifully in my book, Speaking with Spirit, 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You, which you can order right now. You can listen to the audio as well, but do yourself a favor. I wrote it in my most vulnerable and challenging times.
And once again, the book is Speaking with Spirit, 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You. Agapi, where can our listeners go to get more information about you and your work?
Of course, wakeuptothejoyofyou.com. Wakeuptothejoyofyou.com. You can actually read everything about me. You can also get Instagram, Agapi Sees. Of course, I'm in all the social media, but that's my main platform. And please also, you can email me, Agapi, Agapi, at unbindingtheheart.com. And I can send you as a gift some of my guided meditations, Agapi at unbindingtheheart.com, and I'll keep you on my list for everything else.
Agapi, thank you so much for joining us.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Joan.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided is the opinion of our guest and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on our site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, sign up for our mailing list, and be sure to follow the show on social media. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.